Good morning, guys. It's 9:06. I'm getting your video to you a little late. Mondays are always harder for me to get this up, so my apologies. But today's activity is honestly kind of straightforward, so I'll show that to you. But first, I did want to say for those of you who watch these videos, me and Mr. Molina texted your parents on Friday, but if I'm assuming you probably know by now, but the governor did say that we aren't going back to school this year. So we're going to continue school through the rest of the year online. And so I know maybe some of you guys are celebrating, and I know maybe some of you guys are sad, and maybe some of you feel both ways. If you want to talk to me about it at all, feel free to hop on Zoom after this and I'd be happy to. I just want you to know that I love this year with you guys, first of all. I've had so much fun. You guys were a really great class, and we're going to finish this out online and make it as normal as possible. And in terms of graduation and award ceremonies, me and Mr. Molina will talk and we'll figure out a way to do something digitally fun for us. I don't know. Let me think about it, but I'll figure it out. You know I will. So, I don't know. I know it's a bummer. It makes me sad too, but I think that we can still finish it out this way and have at least a little bit of fun on our Zoom calls and everything. So feel free to use my Google Voice number if you want to call or text me. Of course, my Zoom office hours if you need to talk. You can talk to me in the morning check-ins if you prefer to do it that way. But throughout this time of like another month or two that we're doing this, please try your best to let me know how you're feeling, and those of you who are just starting to get into the swing of how to get online, maybe you're a little bit behind and you're just figuring it out. It's really important that you do keep pushing yourself and that you listen to your parents and you do your online work because um, it's going to be a big part of your success next year that we kept pushing this year. Okay. So I know you can do it. Work really hard. You guys were born in the technology age and you're amazing with computers. So if anyone can do it, it's you guys. All right. Let's go ahead and check out your lesson today. I'm in student view because we're submitting something a little differently and I wanted to show you. So I'm going to go to today's lesson. And it's, like I said, pretty quick and straightforward today. It just says that I have your morning check-in here. It is a longer morning check-in because I want to ask all those questions about how people are feeling and if anyone needs food every Monday and Friday. So you've got that one again. You're watching the tutorial now, and then your assignment is that you're going to use your graphic organizers, and if you need to find them, if you can't find them in your assignments easily, go to your Google Drive, and they'll be in the recent portion of your Google Drive. But you're going to use the graphic organizer that we did, the similarities and differences, and you might have two. You might have one that's similarities, one that's differences, and that's fine. Use those because they have your introduction, they have your conclusion, they have your quotes, they have everything for you already. And you're going to write a paragraph that compares and contrasts the two ecosystems you picked. Now, the way you're going to do this is actually right behind my face right here where it says submit assignment in your student view. So let me double check. Yeah. So you're going to click submit assignment and then this text entry is going to pop down. This is where you're going to write your paper, just right here. Now, before you're like, oh yeah, this is easy, and you run through it, please make sure that since you are online, that you're using Grammarly or spell check to check your spelling, that you're capitalizing the beginning of sentences, that you have strong sentences and you don't start with because or so or a lowercase letter. Like I need to look at this just as I have been all of your writing. So this one, instead of saying incomplete or complete, I'm going to give you a letter grade. And to get a strong letter grade, you need to make sure that you use those examples that you put into your graphic organizer of similarities and differences, and that you use a quote with quotation marks to support your similarities and differences. You have the intro and conclusion to your paragraph, but also that you do all these things that I think we pass over a little too quickly: your spelling, your punctuation, and your grammar. Okay, so this is really important. So even though it's online and probably a bit easier, I want you to edit your work. And you're at the advantage where you could go, if your parents aren't busy today or if they have a break in their work schedule, you can run your paragraph by them before you submit it to me. You don't have to submit it in 15 minutes, you know? So write your paragraph, then go through it, reread, add punctuation or anything else that you might be missing the first time around. Use Grammarly to check your spelling and then submit it. All right. And I'm going to show you how to start this off. Now, again, luckily, we've already written a lot of our paragraph. So I'm just going to actually copy my introduction and I'm going to put it right here. Now remember, we want to put, oh, will it let me? There should be an indent. It didn't let me do tab, so I'm just going to use spaces right there, but you want to have a little indent. So I already have my introduction. Aquatic ecosystems bring a sense of tranquility and calmness. They are homes to many animals and they create a sense of wonder. All right. Now for my intro, I'm going to move into a similarity. So a good sentence starter for this would be aquatic ecosystems have many similarities, as you may imagine. Of course, there are similarities such as all being made of water, but there are even more interesting similarities, like, and then I'm going to come over to my graphic organizer and this was the one I found a quote for. So when you guys are going to use your quote, you want to make sure it supports your similarity, not just a random quote. So I'm going to come in here and pick the one that I found a quote for, and it's that they both provide shelter to prey and predators alike. So I'll come back over here and I'll say, like, both the, what were my systems? Marine, coral reef, and little streams. So we'll get a little more specific. So both coral reefs, oh man, and little streams provide protection for prey and predators alike. I know this because the text said, and then I come back, I grab my quote right here. Now I don't want to have the funky like yellow highlighting in it, so I'm going to make sure that if I do accidentally copy that in, that I take it out. All right, and now I do see I've got some misspellings, but I want to keep them there and go through and fix them at the end and show you guys that you don't just hit submit like this, okay? This is not a finished paragraph. This is your draft, and that's okay. You fix it, and then you turn it in. So I've got my intro, I have my similarity, I have my quote. Now I'm ready for my difference. You will also find many differences between coral reefs and little streams. We learned extensively, if you don't know that word, it means like in great detail, about ecosystems in science class. And now I don't remember what I picked as my difference. What did I say? The quote I found is that through little streams may run through forests while oceans do not. I think it should, okay, yeah. The text supported this when it said through dim forests or through forests dim and wide. So I want to make that a little stronger, but I have to use the quote as it is. So I'll say, we learned extensively about ecosystems in science class, and we learned things like salinity levels and animals that live in different habitats based on their ability to survive. See how I'm adding in the information in my brain that wasn't in our poems, but it helps strengthen my paragraph. And now I'm going to go back to the poem and support it. The poems showed a difference about, I'll say, when it said, and then I copy my little thing right here. through the forest dim and wide. So I'll say, when it said that forests or little streams run through forests, yet we know oceans do not. And then I'll add my quote. Through the forest and river. So the poem shows a difference when it said that little streams run through forests, yet we know oceans do not. Through the forest dim and wide. All right, and then now it's time for my conclusion. So I said this right here, copy it, put it over here at the end. Now remember, this is one paragraph, so I'm not going to keep indenting and adding more. It's just one cohesive chunk right here. All right, so this is my paragraph, right? What I see that hurts my heart is that you guys just do this and you come over and hit submit. But this isn't done because this doesn't look uniform. I see that I have misspellings. I see that some words are bolded and some words are not because I was copying and I was pasting. And it's okay to do that as long as we fix it and we make it our best before we hit submit. So now I'm going to, let's first start with making this all the same. So I took out the bolding. Now I need to fix my similarity misspelling in the other ones I have here. So I'm right-clicking on my mouse and I'm fixing the spelling. You can use Grammarly as well. You can look it up in Google and then fix it, whatever you want to do. Predictors isn't right. Prey and predators. So if the computer doesn't get what you're saying, you got to kind of figure it out yourself and then fix it, okay? Again, ask a parent, ask a sibling, ask someone if you're not figuring out how to spell it, but don't just give up. If you're someone who switches their B's and D's, this is the time to think about that. Make sure that you have it correct. Ecosystems, ability, I forgot the L. And sometimes it's just the way that you're typing, and maybe you type it wrong, but you still want to catch it. Okay. Now, am I done? It looks good, but I want to read through it and make sure it sounds like an educated paragraph, and then I'll send it in. If I like just glance kind of quickly, 1, 2, look at my sentences, 3, 4, 5, 6, I have 7, I believe. It's kind of a long paragraph, but it covers everything that we need to do because we had to support our reasoning with quotes. So it's a little bit longer. I would say, just like in class, don't max out over 10. That's a really long paragraph. And again, remember that only this top line should be indented. Everything else should flow just like mine does, okay? I'm going to read it to you. Aquatic ecosystems bring a sense of tranquility and calmness. They are homes to many animals and they create a sense of wonder. Aquatic ecosystems have many similarities, as you may imagine. Of course, there are similarities such as being made of water, but there are even more interesting similarities like both coral reefs and little streams provide protection for prey and predators alike. I know this because the text said reef sharks and sponges and crabs call it home. You also find many differences between coral reefs and little streams. We learned extensively about ecosystems in science class, and we learned things like salinity levels and animals that live in different habitats based on their ability to survive. The poem showed a difference when it said that little streams run through forests, yet we know oceans do not. Through the forest dim and wide. While we have explored many similarities and differences between these two aquatic ecosystems, there is no doubt an abundance of wonder is left to find. There is no doubt an abundance of wonder, I'm going to say, is still left to find. So you'll see that sometimes you're realizing that what you wrote in your graphic organizer might not be perfect, and this is your time to fix it. So I feel good about this paragraph. I think that it does everything I asked for. It has quotes. It gives a similarity and a difference. I fixed my spelling. I made sure that there is punctuation. I have commas. I have periods. I have quotation marks. I worked on my grammar. And another thing to really get you a 4 out of 4 is to use strong vocabulary words. So I heard myself read, I used the word abundance, I used extensively, I use this word tranquility up here. Now, if you don't see any strong vocab words in yours, but